Some beefy storms overnight, but all's clear at this hour, John.
Yeah, we'll take it. Get that rain out of the way at night. Have a nice day. I think a lot of people would agree with that, and it's kind of the price we had to pay for. A nice weekend, too. Had to get through that soaking. Now, for some, as we saw in earlier portions of this newscast, a little bit too much too quickly and some flash flooding. But for a lot of us, just another drink of overnight water. Let's talk about some of the rainfall amounts that we saw. Over 3 inches of rain in portions of Susquehanna County. Montrose coming in with shade over that. Montgomery, like Cumming County, a little over 2 1/3 inches of rain there. In our backyard, not quite 7/10 of an inch of rain. So there was certainly this stripe that stretched from central Pennsylvania up to our northern tier that saw 2 and 3 inches of rain. Outside of that, we saw rain, it just wasn't quite as much. Now, some of us are actually enjoying a really beautiful evening. That's what it looks like in Pottsville right now. So south of Interstate 80, you're seeing a whole bunch of sunshine. Here further north, a lot more clouds, although even in our backyard now, finding some wider breaks of blue. You'll love to see it. 70 degrees your temperature now, but have you noticed how much more comfortable it is? Those dew points are in the 40s right now. That is some dry air relative to where we were this time yesterday. Those numbers were well up into the 60s. Radar is pretty quiet. There may be a little spritzel out there tonight, but nothing more than that. And that spritzel all caused by an area of low pressure that's cranking around over Quebec, bringing some showers up through some of the New England states and trying to wrap in some action down in our neck of the woods, but having a hard time doing it because the air is so dry. Temperatures are generally in the 60s at this point, although we do have a couple of 70s, a little bit warmer as you head further south in our valleys. Seeing a little bit more sunshine, temperatures are a little warmer. But notice, again, the dry air, those dew point numbers down to the 40s to near 50. That is nice and cool, comfortable, a windows open kind of a night. Also going to be a cool night, too. I think some of us will dip down well into the 50s, mid-50s for our warm valleys, but overnight in the higher elevations, you could actually find, I wouldn't be surprised if there were some 40s as we get our Saturday morning started. So some cool temperatures, and Duncan just recently brought back that pumpkin spice. Might be in the works for you this weekend. Here's your weekend forecast. Low humidity, a lot of sunshine coming up for tomorrow. And a lot of sunshine Sunday too, but a little caveat to the forecast as the wind direction patterns shift again. Those wildfires still ongoing across portions of Canada. We're going to get back into some of that wildfire smoke. Again, that's going to be coming up on Sunday. Tomorrow looks like we'll have a sterling day. A lot of blue sky, but there is plenty of smoke getting wafted up from some of the western Canadian wildfires now, and that's what's going to make its way into our backyards by Sunday. But I want to stress, this won't be like what we saw in early June, where the visibility is greatly reduced and the air quality got incredibly poor. This is going to be more of that wafted high up in the sky, 20, 30,000 feet over our head smoke. So, yep, the sun's going to be obscured. It won't be a truly sterling day with the crisp blue skies. But again, it won't be like what we had earlier in June either. So looking ahead to Sunday's air quality, right now we're still in the good. But, Sunday we may get into what's called moderate. So very few of us may have issues, only the most sensitive groups with breathing issues. Everybody else will be fine. So good news there. When it's not that low to the ground smoke, the vast majority of us won't have any kind of issues. Are you headed to the Little League World Series games this weekend, early next week? Great stretch of weather coming up. Sure, some hazy sun there too, but won't impact the games. And there may be a brief sprinkle on Tuesday, but right now weather looks pretty good. And weather also looks good for getting the lawn cut. Again, maybe in the fair category tomorrow, only because it may be still a little wet in some of the hardest hit communities from some of the rain overnight. But for everybody else, looks good, and great weekend weather. And early next week, maybe do a little yard work. That's a look at the next 7 days. And, outside of some of that wildfire smoke, not a lot doing on that 7-day forecast. A lot of quiet weather there. You'll love to see that. Nice stretch, low humidity, good deal of sunshine. Not a lot of heat though. So we haven't seen a lot of big heat recently, and nowhere to be found in the 7-day either, Scott. So folks who are really looking for those last hot days of summer, not seeing those, just seeing a whole lot of comfortable air.
What happened to those dog days of August?
Not here.
Go looking for them, will you, John?
Yeah.
We'll see you tonight.